styles, but I know what you're wondering out there. You're out there, you're all thinking, hey, Captain Billy, this here's the school of 5-string banjo. So what about the banjo in society? Well, traditionally, banjo players was a rowdy lot, comedians of a sort, an instrument played mainly by extroverts. You know, up in the southern Appalachians, no decent woman would allow her husband to associate with a banjo player. The habitat of the banjo was the moonshine still. And mountain ministers used to go around preaching against the banjo. They'd say, you might as well give your son a ticket to hell as to give him a 5-string banjo. Well, I protest. And to plead my case, I'd like to play a little banjo. Some religious songs, old-time style. Now, the first thing you need to play a little banjo is a little banjo to play it on. I got one back over here. And the next thing you need is a little banjo player. So you get your cameras ready and your ears. Here is my old friend, Mr. Stumpy Billy Banjo.
Hi. I bet you didn't think you were going to see me today, did you? I'm Stumpy Billy Banjo. See if you can identify these old religious songs, okay? It might sound like Amazing Grace, and Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and When the Saints Come Marching In. But it probably ain't going to sound like that at all. But since I told you that's what it is, that's what you're going to think it is. All right.
Possibly say such terrible things about an instrument what can play inspirational music like that? I don't know. Now, folks, when you go home from the fair and your neighbor folks come over and they say to you, hey, what did you see out to the fair? Well, you can tell them in all honesty that you saw a little banjo. Well, now I'd like to share something personal with you. See, there come a time when I was growing up, I had to decide to focus my banjo playing style. Either on that lightning fast Earl Scruggs 3-finger picking style with those metal finger picks a flashing in the sunlight and all the lady folks fainting at your feet. Tempting. Or the more traditional old time style with its soft brush chords and frail melody notes. You see, if you're going to play bluegrass banjo, well, you need an instrument with a lot of punch, so you can be heard right along with the guitar and the fiddle and the mandolin and the dobro and the bass and the drunk guy in the back that's always yelling out, "Foggy Mountain Breakdown." That's why they wear them metal finger picks. But if you're going to play old-time banjo, maybe just you and a fiddler or you and a singer, you can use an instrument that gives you a mellower sound. And I'm kind of a mellow fellow, so the old-time style, that's what won out with me. Now this right here, this is a mountain banjo. Now that is a lot closer in design to the original banjos in a bluegrass style banjo. It has got an all-wood body, or pot, as it's called on the banjo, and a very small head, usually covered with a possum skin, but this is plastic. No animals were injured in the production of my show. And on the back is the carving of the head of an American eagle as a tribute to the 5-string banjo being an American instrument. Now, many of those old-time banjo players, they used to play while sitting down. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to see is 100% historically accurate. That's just how they did it back there. Now, smaller the head, softer the sound. So this is sometimes called a porch banjo or a parlor banjo. The idea being you could play it around the house and you wouldn't bother nobody. Now the story goes that up in the hills of Kentucky, if you were gonna go sparking the farmer's daughter, or I guess you'd say dating the farmer's daughter, he'd give you a banjo to play. You see, he and the missus figured as long as they could hear you playing the banjo, they knowed what you was up to. They knowed what you was doing with your hands, and their little gal was safe. Oh, but banjo players was a sneaky lot. I could see something like this happening. Now, son, I hear tell you want to come a sparking Betty Lou.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah. She's powerful purty. She got a purty mouth. And she got a purty.
All right, son. All right. Now, you know how to be playing on the banjo?
Yes, sir. I've been practicing every day. When the sun goes down, I've been practicing playing the taps.
Well, let me be hearing you.
Well, I'm not very good.
Let me be hearing you.
All right. Golly.
That's right, fine, son. You keep on a picking. I'll get Betty Lou.
Okay. Oh, hi, Betty Lou. You're looking powerful pretty tonight. Betty Lou, I've been learning to play banjos. I come a sparking you. I learned a special song just for you. It's called the taps. Now look here, Betty Lou. Look here.
All right, folks, I don't know if that's a true story, but it worked for me 3 times. 5-string banjo, favorite instrument of square dances and barn raisins. We got any clog dancers out here? You feel free to come on over and clog us up some, because I'm going to play an old hoedown tune. Now, you might have heard that phrase, hoedown, and you weren't sure what that meant, okay? Ain't rocket science. At the end of the day, when the sun is setting, all them farmers, they come up from the field, they go up to the barn, and they would put their hoe down. That meant it was the end of the workday. It's time to partay. Here's a hoedown tune called Old Joe Clark. Old Joe Clark, he had a mule's name was Jackson Brown. Every tooth in that mule's head was 16 inches round. Woo! Fare thee well, old Joe Clark, fare thee well, I say. Followed me 10,000 miles, hear that banjo play. Never marry a school teacher, tell you the reason why. She blows her nose old cornbread and calls that pumpkin pie. Woo! Fare thee well, old Joe Clark, fare thee well, I say. Follow me 10,000 miles, hear that banjo play. Now, old Joe Clark were a real person. A lot of them old songs were about real people, real places, and things that were real important, like this here. Every time I go to town, boys keep kicking my dog around. Makes no difference if you're just a hound. Gotta quit kicking my dog around. Me and Pa and old Tom Brown took my truck and went to town. Blue, he was an ornery cuss. Naturally, he followed us. Every time I go to town, boys keep kicking my dog around. Makes no difference if you're just a hound. Gotta quit kicking my dog around. Quit it now. You stop it. You quit kicking my dog. Well, folks, I would advise each and every one of you, do yourself a favor. Learn how to play a musical instrument. Any instrument. It don't matter what it is. It could be wax paper and a comb. You go learning a new instrument and you are going to add a whole new experience to your journey through life. So I hope your experiences with music don't end here. And speaking of ending here, this here is the end of Captain Billy's School of 5-String Banjo. But it ain't the end of you, ain't the end of me, and it ain't the end of the banjo. So if any of you would like to continue your banjo education on your own, I have an incredible book, absolutely free, courtesy of the folks at the fair. This is filled with page after 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 page of illustrations, information, and advice on a 5-string banjo. You want one of them, you just come on up and ask. Folks, I do want to thank you for coming out to the Clackamas County Fair. Now remember, we got Patsy Cline coming up here at the top of the hour. And I do appreciate you attending my class. I hope you had a good time. Hope you have a wonderful time here the rest of the day. Captain Billy Banjo, it has been my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you want a book, you just come on over. I'm going to get everything out of the way for Patsy Cline here.